Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing a Jeskai artifact deck that almost won a challenge on MTGO, a bigger tournament for standard where they host it and you can win actual cash money, dollar dues, sorta. I think you win like ticks and stuff and then you can transfer it out. Whatever. It is more of a competitive event. You really want to be submitting a deck that you feel very confident in. And a artifact list finally put up a result somewhere other than best of one. We're going to give that a try, unfortunately for some, in best of one, but I do have the sideboard here for you. If you want it, I do play a different variation where I just kind of cut these last two cards. Sideboard, why are we doing this? Please stop. But we have these cards in here. If you want to craft it all, this is what the exact list was running. I have no idea if this card is that good. You can tell I didn't craft it because I'm not fully convinced on it, and I'm playing best of one regardless because that's kind of what we do around these parts. But it is artifacts. It is doing the plan of get a synthesizer in, hopefully off of a United Battlefront, along with something else. So we get to make that construct right away, and then scry and our plays can be very strong after that. Other than that, we are trying to control the board the best we can. Authority making things come in tapped. Pinnacle to blow things up, or exile things, I guess not blowing up. Split up, however, blow things up. Snare to target big things. Spring loaded trap to target kind of violent creatures early, and then clay fabrics to gain some life, and find lands. Relic to kind of do essentially the same thing but find important cards. Very good piece in this deck. And then the fire crystal as a combo win, and then if we are out of 4-drops, or maybe we drew the fire crystal, we can go grab this to exile something if we only have 3 mana artifacts on the battlefield. With that said, we're going to dive right into the games. Oh boy, it hurts, but they maul, so we maul. One hurts more than the previous hand just did. So that's something. Come on, dude. I'm risking. One more turn. Got it, right? Where I wish I had this smiley face thing, to be honest, but I mean, it is what it is, you know, on a maul, double maul. Oh, we're lucky. Here we go. I almost clicked this just to like look back through my deck for a second, and I don't really know why. The Kaido, us here, we're actually pretty excited about that because that means we can snare the Kaido and they really just get like 3 damage and a card out of it this turn. So we're not really that concerned about it. Obviously, that's kind of what we want. Go tutor here. Not really worried about Deep Cavern Bat. They're going to have to take the snare from me first before I'm really concerned. We want to deck then here, and then we really want to play the Surveil land, or weirdly want to play the Surveil land. I don't need another one of those, bro. Then no flash there. Maybe holding up a counter spell of some kind. These are sweet sleeves. Cover your eyes, bro. I don't know. I'm gonna just slam this. Sure. The reason we go for that is obviously because if we would have jammed a synthesizer there, we'd have been screwed. But we can jam it next turn and hold 2 mana up. Just something like this doesn't even work. They could have a Tidebinder, but take our scry away, I guess. The Kaido comes in here. Maybe we just synthesizer anyway. Now the problem is like this Deep Cavern Bat can come back in and take our synthesizer. And it's just like the perfect opportunity to jam it. One card goes away, most likely a land ripped off that. That would have to feel that way. Here's a synthesizer. Both those seem too bad to keep. Then we'll pass. And then now they can deep cavern bat and take my snare away from me, I guess. It doesn't really do much. Maybe I should have kept the land here, because that land would have allowed us to split up the deep cavern bat, or even pinnacle the bat, and then snare the Kaido after. We'll see. Going for a draw. You can always make like a construct here. During curiosity going in the bin seems nuts to me. Cavern bat, sure. You have to take the snare. It's like kind of the only one that makes sense. In my opinion anyway. Obviously they then are threatened to lose the Kaido. Redo that. Here. I know this seems weird. I almost wanted to like do the fire crystal thing. But with 2 mana, I feel like it's just to snare, take Kaido, but also if I do synthesizer, they run into a lot of problems, right? Like how they start beating like 2 constructs. With that in play, I will take a land here. This in play. Just so I can get myself to 3 mana so I can maybe double spell. Could be a shoot the sheriff. Long goodbye, equally as good. Now Kaido can come up, stun this, kind of do whatever. But our main plan now is probably going to be play land, pinnacle, trigger our synthesizers, pop the pinnacle. They'll get deep cavern bat back, but then we'll grab a fire crystal and then we'll just go all out here, I think. Even more of a reason to pinnacle now. 3 mana for our opponent. I don't know if they played a land this turn, but they know we have split up, so they're kind of like keeping the deep cavern bat for that, I would assume. We can also just go for a snare instead and set up for 1 more turn. Cavern bat number 2, sure. Even more of a reason to pinnacle now. So I guess we make all the tokens after, right? This seems weird. Seems like a weird thing to be in for. Pinnacle. Pinnacle resolves. We lose an artifact. Get these back. Construct, pop, make a construct. That's 15, so it's just not enough. Alright. Go ahead.
I'm definitely lost.
Yeah, I was just say, I feel like once we get to that point of the game, without a curiosity in play, I just don't know how they keep up. My opponent is first. We'll see if we need to play authority right away or not. Seems like it. Alright, cool. So we can get our 2nd mana down too. By playing a starting town. Play fire bricks and maybe get that 3rd mana. For a snare, or maybe have to pinnacle. Okay. We know what we're after. We'll have to snare the weapon manufacturing and just kind of tank the damage that comes along with everything else. Just need to hope they don't have very many artifacts. 1. I could also just pinnacle everything. I'm going to snare this first and then surveil and then pinnacle after, I think. I think they were on the play and they missed a land. Now they find a land. But here I play surveil land, I pinnacle. I kind of just absorb everything. You said it seems like the right play. Although synthesizer didn't seem that bad here. A synthesizer. Okay, I'm down to draw repurposing bay. And then United Battlefront to grab the snare to take the weapon manufacturing. Sure. I'm looking at taking 4 here, which is brutal. It just is what it is. I'd like to make more constructs. Draw. The counter, sure. We have 2 weapon manufacturings underneath snares, so at some point we have to assume it's good. Exile. Have to actually read this card. Enters exile, target non-land permanent opponent controls until this artifact leaves. So it's just another snare, but at 4 mana whenever we're not ready to grab our weapon manufacturing, I guess. Or not. That's what my opponent's playing. Our fire crystal, I suppose. Or if we draw the fire crystal and we need to grab something, then we can. Alright, we go first. No blue mana here, but we can go Verge, Authority, Land, and we have 2-ish draws to get there. Authority obviously helps us a bit. I know I have the fire crystal in hand, but it's really hard to look at like synthesizer, Battlefront type of. Oh, well, now I know I'll never draw the 3rd land. This is how that works, if you're curious. Elusive Otter. Gamer that likes prowess. Sure. Yep. There we go. Another 3-drop. No land. We're only going to draw 3 drops and then die here. I just want you to know. Ahead of time, by the way. Especially whenever we have, like, good answers here, too. Would have thought. Would have thought. At least I drew a 1-drop spell. Flick Shot and Questing Druiding now. Into the Flood Maul, kind of a dead card. Not necessarily dead, but like, you know what I mean. I think you're going to bounce in Authority for Prowess, maybe. Cards have to be used now, but then I get a fish. I get a slippery boy. I wonder if they'll play a Slick Shot knowing I'm missing land drops. I feel like they should. Or they should play, yeah, I would say, or they should play Questing Druid and maybe play a Slick Shot. Because to get through to Authority of the Councils is a little tough. Okay. Fine. Don't worry. I don't draw a land. Guess what I'm playing? Alright, we're online. We're in biz. We're not in a lot of business, but we're in business. Hold the line, brethren. We're so dead here, dude. We are so dead here. 4 mana in their super prowess deck. 5 mana. Maybe they're having the opposite problem. Maybe they have all the lands in their hand. I'm so dead, dude. We're so dead here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You need like a spell. Sure, dude. Wasn't that complicated, brother. Just put your spells in the stack. Alright. Now we're on the draw. We keep this. Kind of for the same reasons we kept our last hand, but unfortunately it just didn't work out that well. I doubt that this is prowess. This feels more like control. Playing a tap stomp or a sacred foundry. Yeah, it's just got control. Sure. We'll surveil here. Sure. Pretty good one. The No More Lies is a card that they have available. Let's play Clay Fire Bricks. Oh, I feel like that's a waste. In a slower, grindier matchup, I feel like you want to save that. Just kick it. But they could be missing a land. Tap land there. See, look how goofy you look. We're going to deck then, I think. The pause here. Wait, 3 steps ahead isn't online. They have to have a No More Lies here. Boom. Oh, if they have an Ultima, this is going to hurt so bad. But, you know. Gotta force them to have it, right? I mean, Repurposing Bay is a good draw. Regardless. It'll help us get back on track. Another Consult. But you have Ultima. No. Okay. I killed him here? I actually don't know. If I go and play Repurposing Bay, make a construct, sacrifice the other Repurposing Bay, make a construct, I definitely don't have enough. Go here, I guess. I know they can Ultima me, but I'm just not here for it, you know? Bought them both here. 5. Then I don't feel like there's a need to overextend here. Day of Judgment. That's actually perfect. Because now with 2 synthesizers, we can find lethal. That actually is perfectly fine. So here, double construct, activate, here, fire crystal, 2 more, double haste, 20 damage, easy peasy lemon squeezy. This seems a bit excessive for my opponent to be on the play. I want to maul because that hand's just so bad. White, no red, not really mattering here. Keep, and then I think it's just ditching the split up. Sure. Uh-huh. 4-color control, it seems. We're gonna go for a plains. Color control, it seems. Whatever we want to do. Cards are uncounterable. Go surveil here. Probably holding up counter magic, or kind of clearly holding up counter magic, I think. They shocked in on turn 2 to make sure they had it. I'm just not willing to just jam a Repurposing Bay into it just quite yet, especially when I can kind of just draw some cards. Basically have to build up the answers. Go second relic, because now we get to the point that they can't use like a cheap counter spell against us. I can draw a couple of cards. Also, if we can get to the point that maybe next turn we play land, jam a Battlefront, they counter it, and then we jam a Repurposing Bay with 2 mana open, which allows us to then jam a Synthesizer after. The only real problem is they play the one card that can just kind of pick these up really cleanly. My turn. Get to land regardless. We're gonna jam it. This is gonna interact a counter spell, sure. Here's the counter spell. Here. Force them to use a 3 steps ahead. Here. Might as well guarantee it. Obviously they can get rid of them, but here, brother, let me resolve the ability first. I understand you're just trying to get it out of the way, but that could change entirely how I scry. Although, like, I'm clearly playing around it. But I'm just saying in general, it can always change how a player plays their turn. This is worth casting Just Got Revelation against. You got it, buddy. Come on. No more lies. Auto pay? Sure. Deal. I figured I was Just Got Revelation all the way. We want to save these because we can actually pop them. It doesn't always take a bunch of threats to answer this type of deck. Here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Turn. The odds of them having fourth no more lies isn't great, but if I could just play around it, I will. Here's this. I mean, I feel like we should just go for it, right? Like, just force them to have stuff. Bet. I don't have a counterspell, dog. Definitely have the mana for it, though. There's most likely a Day of Judgment coming. But we'll see. What did we get? The thing now is the same trick won't work, right? Because they make me pick my Fire Crystal back up. I still have 4 8/8s that can get there. And once I play Fire Crystal, there will be enough artifacts that I'm way over the 20 life total with all these. A thing like a Get Lost seems always good, but it's not necessarily the best considering it could always backfire. 2 mana on this. Consulting and then shocking always seems crazy to me. Or shocking and then consulting. Sometimes you should always play your lands the opposite way. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they have an answer anyway. Okay. Here. Not bad. Like there's no way this was supposed to be allowed to be here. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Here. Fair enough. Was not ready for the final showdown. Also, by the way, we don't have to tell them this. But somebody should tell them after the game. This card, if you just select all creatures lose all abilities until end of turn, all the constructs die because they become 0/0s. Nobody has to tell them. But you could. You definitely could. Yeah. I know, like, it clearly didn't end up mattering because obviously we're just making haste constructs every turn and we're going to win regardless. But yeah, no, the finale card, if you just make creatures lose abilities, all creatures lose all abilities until end of turn. The way the construct, this token gets a 1/1 for each artifact you control. Notice that it's a 0/0. This ability goes away, putting the creature at a 0/0, and it just, a creature with 0 toughness just dies. It goes away. So, unfortunately for them, they paid full price for it, but they could have maybe made that play if they had this card earlier. Or maybe it was like one of the only outs that if they had this card, they could have definitely kicked this and just done this for 2. Because what, they activated the village and then casted it for its full cost, which puts them in a vulnerable spot for me to play more spells. So, just a little bit of a weird tip for our opponent there. Did we not just mulligan a hand in which we had 3 repurposing bays? Now we have 4 repurposing bays. Arena's like, dude, this is clearly your best card. Don't you love 4 repurposing bays and your non-blue hand? 2 of them. Oh, I got a little loud there. I'll calm down. With the surveil land on the draw, all this nonsense. Why not, dude? What? Who's gonna stop me? Probably my opponent playing mono red. No. Reanimator, I see. This can like star opponent, which is pretty good. But I think we have to find land. I mean, we have to find land. We basically have to go synthesizer and to do some nonsense. They're clearly reanimator. I think there's no other fans or buts about that one. They don't have to return here, but they will return a town greeter because why would they not? Or land, I guess. I think they have the choice. Being on the draw in this matchup. I mean, that takes away our good win. I'm not gonna lie. If I miss a land, I'm just moving on. By the way. That's pretty sick. Tippable for sure. All this just to miss a land. Fortunately, we hit it. Not unfortunately. Like, obviously, I want to play my games out. It's just kind of like, bruh, you know. I do have double red, though. So I have this weird opportunity to game here. I said weird opportunity, not a great opportunity. Sure. We're battlefronting. That's so many things going on. Here. Is land okay? I guess so, because that allows me to play Repurposing Bay and activate it. Alright, no bringer in there. They can bring back an Arden, though, which is pretty good. Yeah, which they also could, if they had this in their graveyard, bring it back. Which has been known to be good against me in the past. Honestly, I think my plan is Repurposing Bay, sack this, hit second Synthesizer, play other Repurposing Bay, and kind of get to that point where even if they do bringer me, I might be fine. What do they hold 4 mana up for? Do this to find a card? Maybe they have one in hand, I guess. Here. Yes. Here. Took this land so we can play Fire Crystal and activate Repurposing Bay. But I guess I don't have the other 4 mana card. Weird. I just realized. We're gonna crack for 8. They don't have it in there. They have the mana, I guess. And they could grab an untapped land here. And they could also have it in hand and discard it here. There's a lot that could go wrong here. Okay. It's so interesting. When this creature enters, looks top X card's library or X creature power. Put a number of land cards from among them on the battlefield tapped and shuffle. Come back tapped. Ow. Why am I not like instantly losing here? Halfway through their deck. I get it, opponent. I literally played this deck yesterday. I went to 28 cards and I didn't find a bringer against this exact same matchup. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience. It's like a fake crazy experience. Like, yeah, I get it, bro. I really do. That reanimate deck just sometimes folds on itself. Okay, so today I actually played Artifacts and it didn't go horribly wrong like it has in the past for me. And honestly, I think having these Verges in the deck, I believe when I played it last, I was just on like starting towns to play my red sources. But honestly, having these Verges, because they do start off on white and our deck primarily being a white deck, as you can tell here. And obviously our best card tends to be blue, and our next best card tends to be blue, and our last best card tends to be red because it combines super well. But obviously all the support cards that white provides makes this deck possible, especially like our board wipe, our precise removal, more precise removal, and then you could argue, I guess, United Battlefront fits that best card kind of category. But with all of that, I honestly, weirdly, a weird thing to take away from today is that these Verges are awesome to play. But, oh, I'm on the wrong deck list too. That's not the wrong deck list. It's just, I'm not crafting this sideboard card because I just haven't played it yet. So I don't feel like putting rares in there just for it to be in a sideboard. Exact same deck list. This just has the sideboard from the challenge. But you can see there's 3 copies of that card. I just wasn't going to craft it. So there is the sideboard and everything as long with it. But it worked out. It worked out a lot better than I think it went for me last time I played Artifacts. At least in the terms of I was finding United Battlefronts. I was getting synthesizers in play when it felt like I had the opportunity to do so. Whereas last time I played it, every time I had a synthesizer, it was just this clunky brick in my hand that I just couldn't get down. And the only way I wanted to play it was with United Battlefront hitting this and something else so I'd make a construct right away. Where playing this on its own just felt like a losing game, right? So, with that said, It went well. It went very, very well. So with that said, this deck might be worth it. It might be. I'll split it up so you can kind of see what the common, uncommon, rares, mythic, etc. are. A lot of rares in this list, but at least kind of the wacky card like this one is not necessarily there. But this is most likely a requirement for this deck. Repurposing is a requirement. Authority, if you're playing any types of control decks, you're probably playing these anyway. So this is kind of a requirement. And Pinnacle is also kind of a requirement because, you know, you can tutor it out and things. Split up, you could argue you can play a little bit differently. If you have 4 Pinnacles, play 4 Pinnacles, 2 split ups, or do whatever you really want with this font. It's kind of up to you. But snares are also a requirement. Like, this deck doesn't really play a lot of fluff cards. It is playing the cards it has to be playing. That's why a lot of these deck lists don't necessarily look real different, but by grabbing a challenge list, we can see what these sideboards are looking like, and you can kind of see that the graveyard matchups maybe not our favorited ones as we just play Rest in Peace to hopefully win that out. So, with all that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.